facilities and finished goods destined for the United States. So we're very bullish on the outlook for Mexico, and we're investing heavily into this marketplace.
It's all about finding balance in life, right? So somewhere in between me trying to speed build a computer in 17 minutes and it taking me 5 attempts to get my time down to that point, and me being like sweating at the end of it and not having any time to give you guys any instructions or insight about what I'm doing, and taking 6 hours to swap out a motherboard in my personal rig, there's got to be a happy medium. And that is exactly what today's build is all about. This, my friends, is the happy medium machine. Now, our goal was to build a respectable gaming rig for the modest price of $500 US, not including peripherals and monitor and all that kind of stuff. Now, admittedly, we did go a little bit over our budget. We ended up closer to the $580 range, but there are definitely some places where you could, trim a little bit of fat in order to hit that price point and then easily upgrade later. Like, for example, we did include a hard drive so that we can actually install a decent library of games on it, assuming we're playing modern AAA titles, some of which are 100+ gigs per game. But you could scrap that. You could install and remove your games as you play them, and then just kind of wait to build up some budget to upgrade your storage down the line. So we're still calling it a $500 gaming rig, and we are going to get started building it right now at a happy medium pace. So we're not going to speed build, but I'm also not going to take like an hour to build this computer. And it's brought to you by Ridge Wallet. Wants to redefine the wallet with its compact frame and RFID blocking plates. Check out how they can help keep your wallet bulge down, and use our offer code Linus to save 10% and get free worldwide shipping. And we're back. Yes, that's the way that we do that. All right, so the first thing we need to decide is whether we're going to go with the windowed or non-windowed version of the MG120G from Cougar. Rawr. Which one's the windowed one?
The G.
The G? All right, we're going to go with the non-windowed one because this build is all about modesty and doing things that actually make sense. If you are spending $500 on a gaming rig, you should be saving the $5 or $10 delta between the windowed version of the case and the non-windowed version of the case, and you should be spending that on a graphics upgrade or a CPU upgrade, something that you're kind of stuck with for an extended period of time versus something that can be easily upgraded down the line, like, for example, storage or system memory. Now, I took a lot of flack when we did a budget build recently, configuring it with a single stick of memory with the intention, of course, of upgrading to dual channel later. People said, hey, the performance sucks. But I'm of the mind that any performance that I give up today, like let's say I save 5% of my budget by going with a single stick of memory, but I lose 5% of my performance. That's a trade-off that doesn't cost me anything in the long term. It's just sort of like deferring that performance and cost to a later time. I fully understood that that was not the ideal configuration, and that dual channel makes a big difference to system performance these days. It's just a matter of whether that's a system performance compromise that I'm making that is going to cost me more down the line, or whether it's one that I'm making that I can just say, hey, you know what? My performance isn't enough today. I'm going to go to the computer store and buy another stick of memory and put it in my system because, I've saved up my lunch money. My parents gave me lunch money, and I decided not to buy lunch, and I just stashed it so I could buy cool stuff that I want. Not that I'm speaking from experience. Let's go ahead and install a CPU. So for our motherboard, we went with the ASRock B450M Pro. This is just such a great balance between performance and cost. It's MATX, so you don't get some of the expansion that you might expect from a full-size board. You've only got 3 PCI Express slots. But let's face it, when you're using a B450 board, you don't have the same degree of chipset features anyway. And an MATX board, I feel, is a really, really good compromise there. So we've got our socket AM4. We've still got 4 memory slots, so we can load this puppy up. We've got 2 M.2s. And then, of course, the PCI Express slots, and actually a pretty reasonable mix of I/O with 6 USB 3+ ports. Only gigabit Ethernet. It's not until you step up to B550 that you're going to start to see things like 2.5 gig Ethernet on these more value-oriented boards. Let's go ahead and switch to our top-down here. For our CPU, we've gone with a Ryzen 3 3100. This thing is just an outstanding balance of price to performance. And I know that we've said some things about it in the past, like that we don't think it makes necessarily the, oh wait, no, sorry, I'm actually thinking of when we got slammed for a completely different video. Yeah, the Ryzen 3100 we actually gave it an extremely positive review. The one thing that we did get